it's time to heal and feel, be real. You just gotta take your time, unwind and chill. Cause now it's time to love yourself. Build emotional and mental health. Cause Black woman, it's time to heal and feel, be real.
Hey y'all, we're back with another episode of Black Woman Healing Podcast. And to get us started, we are going to start off with our This or That segment. So mine is focused on fashion, being I'm getting ready to prepare for my Paris trip / Amsterdam / London, where all the fashion girlies are. I've been thinking about my fashion style and I don't know what it's called. I'm like in between streetwear, but also in between, like, I guess it's called Frenchy wear, is what I recently discovered. And so I kind of mixed the both of those together. And so Frenchy wear is like the frilly dresses and the a lot of like white tops that are like form fitting, but also like flary at the bottom. It's mainly all the like flary stuff, which I seem to like for whatever reason. I didn't even realize that. And so my this or that is, are we picking streetwear or what's another one? I don't know. What's another one I can give y'all? I guess streetwear or Frenchy. Which one are y'all picking?
Yeah.
Which one stands out for y'all? Yeah. Because I'm like in between. I'm trying to pick one myself, but it depends on the day.
I would say streetwear for me if those are the two options. I'm not too much into the frilly, but I do like a white top. I do like the form fitting and like I love like what is it called? Like a bustier type top or like I'm forgetting the name of it, like a milkmaid top. I love milkmaid style tops, and I feel like that's kind of like adjacent to it, right?
It is, yes.
But I'm definitely more streetwear on my day to day, right?
Yes.
Yeah, I agree. I think streetwear just because I'm going to push for comfortability, and for some reason I just feel like with the frilly, I just feel like it's in my way. Like move, like even this right here has like a little flat. I'm like, okay, like just like let's not do too much. I don't want too much going on, and then I'm thinking of like sometimes stuff that's like form fitting. I can explain it. It just doesn't feel as comfortable sometimes versus like streetwear is just given like ready for anything. Like if I'm going to like move around a little bit, I'm ready. If I'm going to you can dress up streetwear too, so I'm going to say streetwear. Myra, it sounds like you about to give them both in Paris, but what would you say?
I mix both of them, but I've been more into like my streetwear bag, and that's why I'm really trying to push all my friends to take this trip with me to Tokyo, because I'm going with the empty suitcase so I can buy up all their streetwear because they do it the best. So I love streetwear. It's bomb.
Really quick though, you do know in Tokyo that like the sizing is different. I keep seeing videos about how like I am huge over there, obese, and like even you're small. You're like, hold on, you're a little thick, and so that's something to keep in mind. Like as you take your bag over there, that like the sizing here is very different.
Definitely.
Yes. That's why I'm taking someone that has gone to Tokyo multiple times with my close friends. So whoever want to come with us, my friends that are listening, we're going to take my friend Candace. This will be her like 4th time, and she has family there. So we're good. She can teach us how to shop.
That's amazing.
Yes.
Okay,
yes.
Candace.
Yes. All right, y'all. So I'm going to go ahead and introduce SaVonne. SaVonne is the owner of Aya Paper Co. So before we jump in, I want to tell y'all that I personally love to shop with Aya Paper Co. It is a company that was founded in 2019 by SaVonne Anderson, who has joined us today, while she was working full-time as a graphic designer at a New York contemporary art museum. She was inspired by notes of encouragement received by friends and family over the years to create a line of stationery that brings an authentic sense of joy, celebration to life's daily moments. As a creative director, SaVonne prioritizes creating high-quality, sustainable products that represent diverse Black experiences. From her notebooks to conversation decks / meditation, because the conversation deck got meditations in there and affirmations, which like blew my mind. You have to check it out. And so today we're going to be picking SaVonne's brain about her business. So SaVonne, as the founder, I know you've encountered some challenges, but we're curious
Absolutely.
about how the challenges have been related to mental health while building this business and how you've even managed.
Yes. Well, first, thank you for having me on the podcast. I'm so excited to talk with you. And yeah, I've definitely had challenges as an entrepreneur. Some of the main ones have definitely been like anxiety and stress because it's just so much responsibility. And it's one of those things that the more that I do it, the longer I've been, running this business, the more that anxiety kind of builds because, there's the pressure of, what you've done already, having more eyes on you, just building that network and having more people really watching my business trajectory. So the anxiety around that is definitely very real. And it's something that, it's not constant, but it is something that I deal with. And imposter syndrome, on the other hand, is another thing. Like, again, it gets more challenging as the business grows where I get certain opportunities or people ask me about things and I have to remind myself like, wow, you deserve this is something that you've worked for and earned, and not like to doubt myself too much. So those are two of the main like mental health challenges I feel like I face with running the business, but I've definitely gotten better at managing them. I've been in therapy before I even started my business, so that is really helpful. This is something I continue to do to just like make sure that I'm taking care of myself. I have a healthy outlet, someone to help me navigate, the ups and downs of my personal life and the business life. And taking breaks is so important. I take breaks whenever I can. Whether it's, just taking a day off or a week off, like whenever I have the time to, I try to build those times in so that I don't get burnt out because I have definitely burnt out before. So far, I have not had a burnout this year in 2024. But
Yeah.
every year before that, I've gotten to a point where I'm just like, I have to take 2 weeks off because I'm losing my mind. So I've learned, kind of through the hard way that I need to build in time to take breaks for myself.
Wow. Yeah. Thank you for sharing that. I feel like people do not speak about that a lot. So wow. Yeah. Thank you for being vulnerable. Also telling us about a few different ways that you manage it, and that's probably why 2024, that you're standing so strong because you're learning your way. Um,
Exactly.
yeah, definitely. So in what ways has your personal life influenced Aya Paper Company, and in what ways has motherhood played a role in your business?
Um, My personal life has been a part of this business from the very beginning, honestly. When I was thinking about the reason that I wanted to start the company, the different designs we would have, it was all coming back to my personal experiences with looking for cars to celebrate the people that I love. So I grew up with a single black dad, so not being able to find cards with a black man on Father's Day, that like was one of the main reasons that I wanted to start this company. And some of our best selling cards, like our affirmation card that says, "You are so smart and strong and beautiful. The world is lucky to have you." That was something that one of my friends texted me, and I just screenshot it. And I didn't, this was before I even decided to start Aya Paper Co. I just knew that this was something that other people needed to like see and hear, and just like resonated with me so much. So a lot of the designs come from, images of my family. I'm inspired by, things that I want to say to them, things that we may experience that I want to share with the world. So my personal life is always like has been an inspiration and an influence on the brand. And then when it comes to motherhood has really shaped my whole experience as a founder, because when I first started the business, I was not a mom. I was single. I was 24 when I started the brand, just like a couple of years out of college, living my best life in New York. And 2.5 years into it, I got pregnant. So it really, like, I think a lot of like how the business has run and just like my experience as an entrepreneur in kind of like the before motherhood and after motherhood, because it's very different. Before I was a mom, I was at my office like until midnight very regularly. Like it wasn't even a big deal. I would just hang out there, have my friends come, we'd have wine, and just like I'd be working on stuff. So I didn't really have a reason to create a balance between like work and personal. because work was like my life for the most part, and it was so easy for me to integrate my friends and like people I was the person I was dating at the time, like who's now my fiance. Like it was just so easy to tell them, come to work with me, come do this with me. It was just nonstop. But once I got pregnant, I really had to take more time to slow down because it was very intense for me. I had a healthy pregnancy, but it was just very physically challenging for me. I gained like 50 pounds. So I was like, and I'm a very short person. So it was like a lot of weight on me. And I was just very uncomfortable. I was having trouble walking, having trouble sleeping. So it's hard to work when, you're physically uncomfortable, you're not getting rest. So I was slowing down a lot and feeling a lot of that anxiety and pressure about, oh my gosh, I'm like 2 to 3 years into this business and I'm not operating at that same level. And then even after having my daughter, breastfeeding and, maternity leave, figuring out how to balance work and still being a mom. I was just recounting with my fiance last night about, I did a trade show, the first trade show that we ever did for Aya Paper Co. I was 2 or 3 months postpartum. My daughter's born in May and the show was in August. And it was 3 full days plus like a day of prep before, like from 8 a.m. to 4 p.m. every single day. So I'm commuting from home in Jersey to New York for the show. I'm there all day. And then, like, of course, there were like a million and one things that went wrong at the last minute. And the whole time I'm also like pumping and trying to figure out how to make sure I get milk back home to my daughter in time. How do I find a room to pump in the venue? It was like a lot. And those were the things that I didn't really think about before I decided to have my daughter. I just knew that, I would figure it out. And I have figured it out, but it's definitely, more challenges, more accommodations. Like before this call, my daughter was literally sitting in my lap, like crying. She's like cranky. She just needs to take a nap. And I was like, mommy has to work. So, just setting those boundaries, communicating with her so she knows. And it's like after this, she'll get more attention. But yeah, motherhood has definitely forced me to create boundaries and find balance and just like give myself more grace.
Whew, that right there. I think that was a loaded question and you answered it wonderfully. But like, yeah, your personal life absolutely, right, has influenced Aya Paper Company. I love the way that you explain motherhood and how, I mean, first of all, shout out to your daughter as well for being able to maintain that boundary. I think that's so difficult for these little ones to like
Yeah.
understand. And but you even presenting that to your daughter, like you even said, you said she's going to get some attention. So it's like it's not forever, right?
Right. And it's very, I don't want to make it seem like she just like respects that boundary all the time. Like there are many times I'm like, mommy has to work and she's in the background, tearing stuff up. Cause like, she's 2.5. So she's still, a baby, but at the same time, yeah, like, but she's small, but she also is very, her cognitive abilities are very advanced for her age. So, I try to take advantage of that to explain things to her. Like, even if she only understands a part of it, like, it's about the repetition and just training her now to, like, understand that. Because now she knows if I'm in my office and the door's closed, I'll hear her outside the door and she'll say, mommy's working. She'll be done soon. Like I'll hear her say that. So it's like she's starting to understand. So I'm really proud of like, myself for setting those boundaries in a healthy way and not making myself feel guilty because mom guilt is so real. So I do a lot of work with like, telling myself, you are a good mom. The way that you are a mother is different from how other people are. Just because, you spend time working doesn't mean that, you're not showing up enough. So that's something I talk to a lot of my mom entrepreneur friends about. Like we share our struggles and have to affirm each other and lift each other up because it can be very challenging to balance both.
Yes. Yeah, shout out to y'all. So when you think about your brand over time, how has the mission grown?
It's very interesting how much the brands evolve from like, what you initially think it's going to be. When I first started my company, I knew that, like I mentioned before, that I wanted to kind of fill this void of not finding products that really looked or sounded like me and the things that I wanted to convey to the people that I loved. So that was important, but I was also spending a lot of time explaining to potential customers the fact that we're a sustainable brand. So talking about our impact on the environment and how we are low waste and using recycled paper. So I was really framing us as a sustainable brand. So I was challenged, I think, with balancing those two things. Like, am I going to highlight the diversity and like the representation or the sustainability? And now I've gotten to this point, years later, where I've gotten a much clearer idea, because I've realized that like my customers really appreciate that the representation more than anything. Like when they see products that look like them, that feel, like something they've experienced before, that is what makes them want to buy from the company. And it's also not just about the products; it's about me and the story and everything that we stand for. So I think that when I first started out, I didn't think that I would be the face of the brand. I just wanted to make these products that I really loved and put them out into the world. But over the last 5 years, I found that, you know, the brand kind of has taken a life of its own. And that's what I've allowed it to do, just like going with the flow. I'm a very intuitive person. So I just kind of follow my instinct with a lot of things. So, like I said, going from, we're still going to be sustainable, but the messaging is going to be about the representation. We also do a lot of work in the community, giving donations to local organizations that are doing work to promote sustainability in our communities, and even just to like make life easier for our target audience. Like that's something that is really important to me, is thinking about Aya as like a vessel to do better work in the community and to like provide for the community in ways that in whatever ways feel, possible for us, So like I said, sometimes that's like donating greeting cards for Mother's Day for, kids to send to their moms in a local school, because, we want the moms in our area to feel appreciated and valued, even if, their child can't afford to go out and buy them a fancy gift, or even if that's for the holidays, using our extra proceeds during, our peak season to donate to a toy drive so that these children can enjoy the holiday season regardless of, their background, so that, parents can feel a little bit of relief. So those are all things that are really important to me, and something that I didn't really think about when I first started the brand. But as we continue to grow and reach more success, I just wanted to make sure that I was always paying it forward and pouring back into the community that supports us.
I absolutely love that. And so before we go into our next question, I want y'all to go on our Instagram and scroll all the way down to when we first started, because around the time that you were starting, we were getting started too. And so you were one of the business. I used to try to highlight businesses, and you're the ones I kept coming back to, because you were ahead of the wave in that your products were showcased to me at a time where when I was buying notebooks, I didn't see any Black women on them. And so when I saw it, I was like, whoa, I've never seen this before. Now we see it a little bit more, but when you had it, it was usually like you see like a quote or something like that. And so when I saw it, I was like amazed. And so, like I said, if y'all scroll all the way down, you'll see that Aya started in a time where we kind of got started. And so you'll see that transformation that's changed. And so now I'm kind of curious, what's been one of your favorite reviews from a customer who has bought your products, or if there's one that stands out for you?
I mean, I just appreciate every single review, because like, for someone to feel so impacted by a product that they wanted to go and like make sure that they told that to other people, or like other people could read it, like that just means a lot to me. Because you don't have to, I write reviews for places, but not a lot. Only when I feel like, okay, I really need to let people know, because this was just so impressive to me. So I don't take for granted any of the reviews. We have over 300 reviews on our website, and I'm just like so grateful, first and foremost. But one of the reviews that I always come back to was from a family. I don't even know who these people are, but they left a review talking about how they purchased this pack of greeting cards to share with, I think it was their great aunt or something. She's like in her 90s and hard of hearing. So phone conversations are very hard for them. Like they want to keep in contact with her because she's far away, but it's hard for them to talk on the phone. She can't hear what they're saying. So they wanted to get these cards to write and like mail to her, so that they can like make sure that she feels appreciated and loved in a way that she can receive, because they can't necessarily say it all the time. And that was I just really love that review, because it shows like the impact of greeting cards in a way that we don't. Some people think, well, oh, I can just send a text or I can just send an email, but it's like that's not accessible for everyone, and it also doesn't have the same impact. So whether it's someone that's like, very young or very old, like I just love how our cards are helping people to connect with the people that they love in a way that feels authentic. So that's a review that I really love. Yeah, that was for our gratitude card set. So that has like 4 different cards with just like different, really authentic and like sentimental messages of gratitude. So one of them is, "I'm so grateful to have you in your life, in my life."
Yeah.
I'm going to repeat that. One of them says, "I'm so grateful to have you in my life." Another one says, "Thank you for being you. You're definitely my favorite person." So like those type of messages I think are so simple, but they make an impact if you open a card and that you weren't expecting, and someone just poured out how they feel about you. So those are the reviews that I always appreciate the most. Not for a birthday or things like those are great, but it's really the ones that are just for the everyday that you just felt on your heart that you wanted to share with someone.
Yes. And what I love about the cards too is like they'll just speak to you. Like how I was telling you the last time that we spoke of, like I always go to this one bookstore in particular and I didn't realize it was your cards, but I always just go and buy one whenever I want to get a card that's down the street from me. So I just go there and get it. And then something told me just flip over the back and I was like, wait, what? I did not make that connection. So I think that
What
I love
store
that
is
about the
it?
cards too. They just speak to you. Reparation Club.
Oh yes, I love Reparations Club. They are one of my
Yep.
favorite stockists. Honestly, I'm glad I did get to visit because I'm on the East Coast, but I was in LA. That was I think no, that was last year. Yeah, last April I was in LA, and I made a point. Like I drove out of my way to go there during the hours where they were open because I just like had to go in person. So I appreciate them having our cards in their shop so much.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah, so you have given us some personal pieces, some inspirational pieces, a lot of great things already. But if you had to give a takeaway for our listeners, it could be anything, what would you say?
Mm. I said I was going to write down my answer to this one, and I didn't say nah.
I'm glad you didn't.
I know I have to, like I said I'm intuitive. I got to see what's coming to me right now in this moment.
Yeah.
Okay. My takeaway to listeners would be to not take the people in your life for granted. That's something that I feel greeting cards really help us to act on that intention to show people that we appreciate them and not just take for granted that they'll always be here or that they know how we feel about them. Of course, like, birthdays or anniversaries, like those are perfect occasions to send someone a note about how you feel about them and just letting them know how many things that you think about them are amazing. Like, we don't hear that very often. So I think that it's great to go out of your way to do it on a random day, whether it's your best friend, a parent, a cousin, your neighbor, someone who just, they're a great person who makes you feel special, who you see what they do for others. Take a moment to, whether you're going to send them a card or just, even if it's just a text, or you go knock on their door and just, have a conversation with them, send them a small gift. Those things really make people feel special, and you never know what type of day or week or year someone is having and how much you can impact them with that. So yeah, that's my takeaway. That's my homework to everybody. Make sure that you take some time this week to reach out to somebody and let them know how great they are.
Wow. Amazing takeaway. We thank you so much. And if you all have been following us already, we have been sharing about Aya Paper Company. And so all the information will be in our description. Please support. And thank you for joining us for another episode of Black Women Healing Podcast. We will see you all next Monday.